Hi everyone and welcome to today's lesson. We are on day 2 of our geometry review and our focus is on finding missing dimensions of cones, pyramids, or spheres. And second is word problems. Okay, so those are the two topics that we're going to kind of talk about here. So first off, we have a pyramid. And again, you will not have to memorize formulas, but we have the formulas on the board in class. So the formula for a pyramid is 1/3 times the base area times the height. Okay, so I'm going to plug in what I know. And this is different from before because before you'd plug in base area and height, where here our problem says to find the height. We're going to have to work backwards. Okay, so we're going to plug in the volume, which is 98. I keep my 1/3. We've got our base area, which is 14. And we're missing our height. Now, you can take 14 times 1/3. That is totally okay. But it gives you another fraction. And if I can, I try to get rid of fractions right away. So to get rid of multiplying by 1/3, if you think opposites here, we're going to either divide by 1/3, which is the same as multiplying by that reciprocal, which is 3. That will cancel it out. So if I do the same thing to the other side, in my calculator here, I'm going to do 98 times 3, which is 294. And all I'm left with is 14 and my height. To solve for height, I have to get rid of that 14. That's 14 times h, so we're going to divide by that 14 to give us a final answer of a height of 21. So our answer here is 21 centimeters. All right, and then in class I paused here and I had them try one just like it. So go ahead and do that at home. See if you can get the correct answer. All right, let's see how you did. Again, 1/3 big B H, we plugged in 120. We plugged in 20, and we are looking for the height. So to get rid of the 1/3, I multiply both sides by 3. That cancels out on the right side, giving me 20h. And on the left side, 120 times 3 is 360. Last, we're going to divide by 20, which would give us a height of 18 centimeters. Okay, so let's get a little bit trickier. The pyramids are usually the easier of the ones. We're going to start going to cones. Those are the toughest. So cones, they have two formulas. They have 1/3 base area height, just like a pyramid. Now, cones, since the base is always a circle, again, sometimes they take out that base and they put in the area of a circle. And the area of a circle is pi r squared. So again, either option you can do. People in class asked how they knew which one option was better. Well, it depends on what you're given. If you're given a radius, use the one with the radius. If you're given the base area, we're going to use the one with the base area. So in this problem, we're given a base area. So guess what? We're going to use the one with the base area. We're going to plug in what we know. So here our volume was 42 pi. Make sure you have the pi. And our base area was 14 pi. Again, also keep the pi. And we're trying to find the height. Well, we're going to start off the same way that we did on the last one by getting rid of that 1/3 by multiplying by 3. And don't do anything with the pi. And I'll show you why here in just a second. We're just going to do 42 times 3. And that gives us 126. And then we keep the pi almost as if it was a variable. And on the other side, I have 14 pi in h. So if I just want the height and I want the 14 and the pi to go away, well, both of them were multiplying them by the height. So instead of multiplying them, we're going to divide both sides by 14 and pi. So the reason why I said don't do anything with the pi is because, well, first off, on the right side, they both cancel out. On the left side, I have a pi on top and a pi on bottom. It's kind of like if I have the fraction 5/5. I can divide them both by 5 and get 1/1. So they cancel out. And I'm just left with 126 divided by 14, which is 9. So our answer here would be 9 centimeters. All right, go ahead and pause here and try this one on your own. All right, let's see how you did. So we're going to do 1/3 big BH. Our volume is 242 pi. And our base area that we need to plug in is 22 pi. To get rid of the 1/3, we multiply both sides by 3. And 242 times 3 is 726. Again, we keep the pi. Bring down the 22 pi. And to get the height all by itself, we got to get rid of the 22 and the pi by dividing it. And everything cancels out on the right side except for the height. And on the left side, the pi's cancel out. And 726 divided by 22 gives us an answer of 33. So our answer is 33 centimeters for the height. All right, this was as complicated kind of as we got these next two questions. So it doesn't give us big B, it doesn't give us radius. Well, how do we know which formula to use? If you look at the question here, it says find the radius. So we want to make sure we use the formula that has the radius in it. Again, you won't have to memorize those. We're going to plug in what we know. So the volume is 336 pi. We have 1/3. We have pi. Our radius we do not know, and our height is 7. So we're going to start off just the way we did the other problems by getting rid of the 1/3. So multiplying by 3. And 336 times 3 gives us 1008. Again, keep your pi. On the right side, that kind of bothers me the way that it's written right now. So I'm just going to rearrange it. I'm going to put the number first, then the pi, and I always like my variable last. So I didn't change anything, I just rewrote it. And if I want r squared by itself, I have to get rid of the 7 and the pi by dividing it. So radius squared is going to equal, pi's cancel out, 1008 divided by 7 gives us 144. Now, unlike the last problem, we are not done yet because I don't want radius squared, I just want radius. So to undo squaring, I have to square root. Now, technically, I have two answers. We have positive 12 and negative 12, but remember, the radius can't be negative. Any kind of measurements can't be negative. So our final answer here is 12. So if I put my label, that'd be 12 centimeters. All right, this last problem was tricky. Go ahead and pause and see if you can get the trickiest one. All right, so let's see how you did. You should have used 1/3 pi r squared h. I'm going to plug in 48 pi for my volume. I'm going to plug in, oh, I don't know my radius. I'm going to keep that there. I'm going to plug in 9 for my height. So just like all the other problems, we're going to get rid of the 1/3 by multiplying by 3. So 48 times 3 is 144 pi. And just like the last problem, I'm going to rearrange this so it looks a little prettier. So I'm going to put the 9, then the pi, then the radius squared. And to get radius squared by itself, we divide by 9 pi. So radius squared, 144, divided by 9, gives us 16. And to undo squaring, we square root to get an answer of 4. And a lot of people had this answer, and I told them they were wrong. And they're super confused. And the reason being is they did not answer the question. So the radius is 4 centimeters, but it doesn't ask for the radius. It asks for the diameter. Diameter goes all the way across. So we have another 4 centimeters. So our final answer here should be 8 centimeters for the diameter. That's why that one was a little bit trickier than the others. All right, last question. We're going to do a word problem here. So it says you're creating a small model of our planet. You want the diameter to be in 30 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and label that. Diameter straight across, so 30 inches. How much paint will you need to cover the model? So we know that the shape is a sphere. Everybody in class knew that. Now we have two formulas for a sphere. We have volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed, and we have surface area equals 4 pi r squared. And so to know which one we're going to do, you have to kind of know a little bit about volume versus surface area. If I am painting it, I'm painting the outside. One of these deals with the outside versus the other one deals with filling the shape in the inside. And the one that fills the shape in the inside is the volume. Outside is the surface area. So since we're painting the outside, we are going to be finding the surface area. So we're going to use that formula for pi. And for our radius, they gave us diameter. Radius, we have to cut that in half. So 15 squared. So if we answer this in terms of pi, we would do 15 times 15, or 15 squared, times 4. That would give us 900 pi. But a lot of times in word problems, we don't want our answers in terms of pi. So we're actually going to take 900 times pi in your calculator, and that gives us about 2,827.4 inches squared. So square inches is how much I would need to paint there. Okay, let's go to part B here. It says you want to make sure that your model is accurate. About 70% of Earth's surface is water. How much of your model needs to be water? There's a few ways of doing this. I know that that is the total space we need to paint. And I know that my answer should be less than that because I only want 70% of that. So I recognize the word of. Of is a keyword that tells us we need to multiply. So we want to take 70% of, so multiply it by the total. So 2,827.4. Now in your calculator, we don't usually put 70%, we change it to a decimal by moving it over to the left twice. So 0.7 times 2,827.4. And I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Give us an answer of approximately 1,979.2 square inches. All right, that's it for the lesson. Hopefully this was helpful. Shoot me a message on Schoology if you still need extra help. All right, see you guys. Bye.